So, where we last left our adventurers, we had everyone gathered at the window of the Bastion of the Edge, seeing a massive air elemental, apparently under the control of some sort of hovering, flying wizard. And the air elemental was bearing down upon someone who is close to our paladin, Chadrick, who, in order to protect this individual, had leapt from the window of the tower to come crashing down to the ground. So I would like you to please make an athletics check to try to stick your superhero landing.
Synthetic 20.
Ooh. Synthetic 20 with a 20. That is what I was looking for, to only take 3 points of damage instead of 7. Well done.
Okay, and as I'm running, can I use my telepathy to summon Bud the horse to kind of sprint up with me?
Absolutely. As you call upon him, he comes running up next to you, and you're able to Legolas style swing up onto his back while still in
Nice.
And Sigmund, did I hear that you got a 15 in initiative?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Same with me. Same with me.
Ooh.
I got a 24.
Oh, 24. But Chadrick, how did you do in your initiative?
Oh, no.
I got a 1. Yeah. I got a
Chadrick,
1.
you got a ways to go.
I'm a little dazed still from the fall.
Tumpy, since you're going first, as you're looking in horror at the sight out the window, you notice that the knights are all in motion. You notice one individual who is in fact not running for the exit. In fact, she has slipped into the room, a very large half-orc woman in the armor of the Knights of the Division. And as she kind of takes the opportunity, like she's looking out the window at this air titan, she sidles up next to you. And in the voice of your eldest sister, the one who you and your other sisters refer to as Her Highness.
Her Highness.
She says, "What's going on here? Do you know what this is?"
Jenna Dump.
Keep it down. What's going on? Did you bring this thing here?
All high and mighty. Miss, I'll never use my changeling powers for nothing but good.
Oh, okay. If I'm being totally honest, this is an alibi I've had for a few years now.
Are you serious?
I thought it would.
As a knight?
I thought it would make sense.
Looks pretty good.
Or
Super convincing. This is pretty good, dude, isn't it?
I should make this look good, but we need to talk. Maybe we should just slip away. And she points at a back room that does not lead towards the elemental. It's leading away from this fight.
I pause and look over at the group, Dogbreath, with a strange look in his face.
They're all completely focused. The air elemental is
he's-
the biggest thing happening right now.
I've got to protect Dogbreath.
And she runs back up to you. Who are they? They're not family, Tumpy.
You see me just like catching with my plant hand, like shit's going through the window. I'm just like making plants to like bringing it in.
Are they important to you?
Oh, I think they could be very helpful for us.
All right. I'll do what I'm supposed to be doing. You do what you're supposed to be doing. We'll talk in a moment. I'm on my way. And she draws her sword from her waist as she runs for the stairs and starts to go with all of the other knights.
Last one out the building.
Spilling out. He's easily the last one out the building at this point.
Chadrick's just in the air.
And they have to run around the side of the building. So as your turn's continuing, you're just barely seeing her kind of appearing around the corner. You've definitely used up a chunk of your turn, but what else would you be trying to do with your turn? Anything else in particular?
No, that can be my turn.
I think that makes a lot of sense. You had that exchange with her.
I think that could be
You
your
clarified. Sticking with you still right now.
Getaway weekend.
Okay, I'm gonna grimace as I see fucking Chadwick bust out of the window and 4,000-year-old glass. Unhitch the lock and it just opens. The window just opens. So totally unnecessary.
You find the opening of the window and you
In my
push
head,
the
he's
glass
just like,
open.
dude, that was such a great call.
Absolutely.
The door just swings open. Mac, there's nothing to worry about. I'm sorry about the glass. This air elemental will be easily taken care of. Like, I brought a druid from the city of Haven. He's been training for 55 years on this.
A druid. He turns to look at you, this machine man. A druid, you can help here.
He can help. He can solve this in a second.
Can you control this thing?
Not exactly that kind of the druids, like with
the air, the earth, the fire, the water. Not really my thing. I'm more into... And then I just show my seed.
They look at it. Knight Matthias gets this deadpan, like, what? Look on his face. And then Mac mirrors it completely with lenses on his eyes, kind of like frowning.
No, Mac, the seed is really important. He'll tell you about that later. No, like, do the Jewish stuff. Fuck. And then I'm going to go, okay, I will jump off the balcony inside. Ha! So we're just gonna fucking run past me?
Just make an athletics or acrobatics check.
Fucking no problem. A 3.
With a 3, I'm sorry to say you're actually taking a full 6 points of damage right now.
And that's the end of that.
It's just a sprain. and then I cast plant stride, tree stride.
Yes, it seems to grow larger, and then it seems to almost open up like a doorway, like an archway.
He's doing it back. Then I go through the plant. I have 500 feet, and there's a plant that everywhere I go, I like echolocate where the plants are.
You're in the plant net now.
I remember that there was one on the bridge.
Yes.
And I step out of my tree stride on the bridge.
Absolutely.
And I shout back, Dogbreath! Now what? So I see him just stumble down the stairs and then run into like a potted plant and then come out on the bridge.
Absolutely. You're like looking at the potted plant like, what the hell? And in the background, the camera sees like Sigmund getting out. A couple was running away and they stumble backward for a moment and then run past Sigmund, realizing he's not an enemy.
And then I go and I just grab the nearest person and I just around
I'm gesturing to like save the, like, just tell the tornado to go away. You control the elements.
And I go, not that kind of druid. And then I just grab somebody nearby, and that is my whole turn.
Absolutely. There is one young child who just got like body checked by 2 separate adults who were trying to run away, stumbled and fell onto his hands and knees. He is obviously the person closest to you who's in the most danger.
I just wrap the child and I try to hope that my weight on top of him keeps him from being lifted into the air.
Absolutely. In that case, I am just going to say that the air elemental had been bearing down upon General Ventheris, and that is going to be a total of a 19, just enough to hit General Ventheris for a walloping. Going to be 28 points of damage in a single hit against General Ventheris. The ground next to him is smashed, and he's sent hurtling through the air, skids along the ground a little bit, and stands himself back up, grunting, putting one gauntlet down to lift himself back up. Dogbreath, we are up to you. What would you like to do?
Son of a bitch. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just do what I normally do, which is save the city. And I'm going to go ahead and cast a 3rd level Dispel Magic on this air elemental, and that should do it.
All right, you try a 3rd level.
Certainly.
Dispel Magic.
I say, Mac, he's the druid. He's getting prepared. But I'm just going to do what I normally do.
You're going to need to roll a wisdom check, and once again, something is interfering with your magic and giving you disadvantage here. It is as though your attempts to dispel this, just like when you were trying to close the rift, something is hindering your efforts.
Okay. Really hindered hard. Ooh! On the higher rolls, I got an 8. So I'm just like, save the city!
It pulses, shrinks slightly, and then grows larger. Seems as though more wind is erupting from the core of this creature. In fact, you notice behind the creature, further east along the river, sort of where you didn't see this thing arriving, but where you would have surmised it had been moving from a moment ago to come and wreck the boat it just crushed, you actually see after that 8. That wasn't a natural 1, right? It was just
the
a low
disadvantage was a natural 1, but I rolled higher than that.
Well, I'm taking the lower of the 2 rolls with disadvantage. Was it a natural 1?
Yes.
Okay, Dogbreath, with a natural 1, it is clear what is happening here. You are seeing, suddenly, as you attempt to dispel the elemental, instead it grows larger, it sprouts more tendrils, and there's almost a trail of wind that illuminates behind it. And you see what had been almost a swirling nexus of wind that you wouldn't have noticed suddenly split the sky. And there is a rift now in the air. Please make a perception check since you are the first to notice this rift that, as far as you can tell, you created.
28. No, I didn't.
With a 28, you can clearly see through this rift a jagged tear in the sky, the edges of which you can barely make out, but you are clearly seeing it's showing a different sky entirely beyond that rift. Make an Arcana or Religion check.
19. I am a religious guy.
Okay, with a 19, you don't know more than this, but you know that rift is showing you a sky on the place where one might say skies come from. It is a rift leading from and possibly into the elemental plane of air.
I'm going to just end my turn by saying, no. Why? And I'm going to look at Chadwick and Sigmund and say, we need to stop this immediately. Close the portal. Which is a hard throwback from season 1.
Absolutely. I love it.
Watch
Love
season
closing
1.
portals.
Sorry.
It's your favorite thing
really
to do.
good episode.
Mac has a flashback.
Now, at this point, through some legendary actions, the Air Titan is going to be doing further attacks on the bridge. It is going after the bridge in its entirety right now, but the main victim here is General Ventheris. So what I would like you to do, Chadrick, is please roll a saving throw, a strength saving throw. He has a +6 on this. For General, actually he has a +7 on this, I'm gonna say, to see whether as the Air Titan moves physically onto the section of the bridge where he is, will he get lifted up off the bridge?
Okay. My general got a 16.
With a 16, that is not quite enough. You are looking for a 20 or higher against this. As sections of the bridge are getting quivering and then getting yanked free up into the air, this Air Titan is now becoming a hurricane with chunks of rock swirling around inside of him. General Ventheris grabs onto his statue, holds on tight until the statue is split in half by the force of the wind, and he is still holding on. And then his grip breaks. He is torn up into the hurricane and starts getting knocked around by the stones, ricocheting off of them for another 22.
Ooh, my guy. My
of
guy.
damage. He has taken 50 on the dot in all so far. And that is the legendary action of the Air Titan. That brings us from Dogbreath's turn then to the man who is hovering above all of this. He looks down, and Chadrick, you were the one who clearly saw this guy. It's almost like he's stirring a pot with his staff, as though he is the one making the hurricane swirl even faster, and he keeps gesturing with it in the direction. He seems almost like he's talking to either the elemental or himself as he gestures towards, not the bridge, but the bastion of the edge, the fortress of the Knights of the Division. And as he does that, he looks down at you galloping towards the bridge and at the general swirling around in the midst. And he's going to choose his target. He also notices Sigmund, but he looks at the general with a smile. The general is hurtling through the air, and he's almost in a malicious way. You can see a smile splitting his face. From his staff, launches a firebolt at the general.
Oh, I wish I could fly so badly.
It's just barely hitting the general for a total of...
No.
That's going to be 16 extra fire damage directed at General Ventheris. One more attack could conceivably knock the general out. And that is going to bring us from that guy's turn to suddenly in the distance, just before your turn, Chadrick, there's a noise coming from the walls of the city as though something is leaping across the rooftops. Chadrick, since it's about to be your turn, I'll let you make a perception check again.
Attack.
A 10. All you know is that there is some shape in the distance that you see arc through the air and then land on another rooftop.
Yeah.
And you can just barely hear what sounds like machinery, maybe. With an initiative count of 2, Mac the Voithoi turns to Knight Commander Matthias. And as he steps towards the broken window that you leapt out of, Chadrick, he puts his hand on the windowsill, and for a moment, his mechanical hands seem to almost bend and then break the wood a little bit. And his eyes widen, and he turns to Knight Commander Matthias and he says, Matthias, I'm sorry. I've got to do it. We knew this was only a matter of time. And he goes, no, we need you. The city still needs you. The city needs me now, Matthias. And everyone still in the tower, you, Dogbreath, and Tumpy, notice that from out of Mac's back, there are purplish, bluish tendrils beginning to slide out from between the plates of metal and wood that compose his body. And he says, I know what's going to happen, but the city's under attack. This is exactly how we thought it might happen. I'm sorry. And he says, but Matthias, the Geminods are in the basement. This thing is going to attack. And he starts to rise up off the ground with these tendrils touching the ground, lifting him up like legs. They're almost pushing him out the window. And just as you think the arms are gonna launch him, these tendrils are gonna launch him out the window, instead they lift up off the ground and they spread behind him like wings. He almost looks like a sentinel kind of from the Matrix, just shooting forward with these tendrils floating behind him. And as he launches towards that wizard, the tentacles all wrap around like arms aimed at the wizard. And he shouts, "Hey, big un!" at the air titan. "You've got me to deal with now!" And hurtles right into the midst of the wind.
Congrats on having Mac's coolest moment, dude. Jeez.
Yeah. Must be nice.
It must be nice.
Mostly you were just missing your firebolt thing.
I was just dying on the ground.
Matthias, for some reason, seems completely distraught, even with how cool that looked and how heroic Mac is being. He seems very upset, and then turns to you, Dogbreath, and to you, Tumpy, and says, or we should get the Geminods out of here. Someone's got to save them. If the building gets destroyed by this thing, they can't protect themselves. And he starts to run for the door and yell at some of the knights who were apparently like guarding the entrance against possible incursion. We've got to get to the basement now. And that is where Knight Commander Matthias is heading right now. Chadrick, that is going to bring us to you next. What would you like to do?
Okay, yeah. So I was going to try to take out that guy, but now that I see Max doing it, I want to go to the general. So it's probably a dumb move following a dumb move, but I want to try to leap off my horse and like leap from floating rock to floating rock till I get to the general.
You can absolutely try to leap from your horse and to leap from piece of debris to piece of debris. I would like you to please make with disadvantage.
Yeah, makes sense.
Actually, I'll let you attempt a strength saving throw to see whether or not you have disadvantage first. Attempt a strength saving throw to see how much you're affected by the wind.
Natural one.
Natural one. The wind is absolutely a huge impediment to you right now, and because you rolled a natural one, I'm also just gonna say a brick just hit you right in the fucking head for a total of 16 points of damage in all. It's a big brick. Just it was the horrible thing was it was a normal sized brick that just hit you with the speed of a fucking baseball. Just boom, right off your helmet, rocked you. You absolutely have disadvantage on your athletics check to make it.
Chadrick has a concussion, but he wasn't thinking that much anyway, so it doesn't really affect him.
Unaffected.
All right, I think the low is going to be a 14.
A 14 is enough that you are not falling,
Okay.
nor are you getting picked up and carried by the wind, but you're not making much progress towards the general. You leap for what is actually a big chunk of the bridge, and you land on this whirling chunk of the bridge. But as soon as you land on it, you're like, whoa, whoa, and you almost go right over the edge. You have to fall prone and just hold on to this chunk. And you try to stand back up to reach out to another large floating chunk that is whirling around. You try to stand up to leap for it, and then you pinwheel your arms, fall backwards, and you're hanging on to this whirling island of a chunk of the bridge right now that is in the midst of this air elemental. There's a howl from the creature, and suddenly on the outside of the hurricane, you see the face, and you realize it's looking into its own body at you with anger in its eyes. You have drawn this thing's attention.
Yeah, all right, that's good, question mark. So I see a lot of bad things coming my way, so I'm gonna use my action to cast Protect for Good and Evil.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to take all the heat from this thing and get it away from the bridge.
Absolutely.
I think I recognize that my plan is gonna work, so for the rest of my turn, I'll just say a prayer to Attune. Attune, I'm trying to keep everyone else safe, but please protect me.
Absolutely.
I get ready for what's coming.
Attune's magic is indeed protecting you. As a final legendary action from the elemental, it conjures up a tendril of whirling air within its own body, running horizontal to the actual hurricane itself. And it reaches in, almost like it's sprouting out, and then going back into its belly button. It is trying to grab you and fling you out of its body with disadvantage. It attempts to attack you. And it would have been a critical hit. This thing split into many tendrils to just wrap around you. And instead, as the 5 tendrils that it split into converge on you, they just splash against your shield and your armor. The wards of Attune flare with radiant energy, and this thing only got a 12 total instead of a critical hit. Well done.
I hope I bought someone smarter than me more times.
Absolutely.
Good idea.
And just as you say that, Tumpy, we're back to you.
Dogbreath. It's Tumpy.
Isn't that time for a
I
negotiation?
just wanted to make sure you knew that it was me. But you think we can kill this thing? I've got not really an idea. Oh, also, I should tell you, I got a vision. Tumpy had the girl. I'm looking for my sister. She's in the Elemental's original. I don't know much about it. I'm trying to figure it out. Do you know what I'm talking about? You have no idea. There's a lot of emotions. I just saw my sister, also my older sister, the one I call your highness.
Tumpy, get a hold of your stuff.
Sorry,
Do something.
I don't know my pal. I guess I'll do that.
Not your fat.
No.
Just launch it.
That would be fucking amazing.
I've got to protect you, mate. I take my my paddle. I look right at the guy in the sky. Is it for you, Dogbreath? And I launch it out the window.
Absolutely. The paddle is hurtling through the air. Now, I'm going to ask, were you trying to do that from like a hidden position to try to do an ambush strike? You're aiming at the wizard in the sky, right?
For the wizard in the
Absolutely. Just make a stealth check to see if, as your bonus action, that wizard has noticed you or whether you're surprise attacking him.
sky. Ridiculous play. Ridiculous play. 23.
Okay, with the 23, you're absolutely going to be catching this wizard by surprise, which means that the disadvantage you would have for throwing her paddle is going to be canceled out by the advantage you have for surprising him. It means it's just coming down to 1 attack roll for the paddle against that
How
wizard.
great, the paddle just starts picking up wind.
Hitting you. The sand just threw a paddle
That's a
into a tornado.
27.
A 27, that's not a critical hit, is it? Okay, absolutely. A 27, you see this wizard with his staff apparently directing the air titan, and he just sees, well, a piece of debris, but it's getting close to me. What? And then bam, right in the face.
Right in the kisser.
The
For
bearded
glory.
wizard is getting smacked. Now, the bad news is you won't be getting sneak attack for this because you're not in melee one-on-one with him, but you do get to deal the normal 1d8 plus whatever damage you deal with your paddle.
We got a 6.
6. Okay, 6
total.
damage.
6 total.
All right.
I love that you just threw it into a tornado. Basically.
And it worked.
I want to emphasize, I didn't give you disadvantage because you were aiming for him. He's above the tornado. So you threw it above, just barely above the wind.
Incredible throw.
As soon as it falls down, the hurricane picks up your paddle and starts whirling it
Didn't
around.
think that far through, actually.
It's clear that this guy turns beet red on the cheek. He's not like bloodied or anything by the paddle
Slapped him up
attack.
real good.
But what is interesting is that as you smack him, he was hovering in the air well above this hurricane. As he gets hit in the face, he wobbles for a moment, and you realize that flying spell he has on him is a concentration spell. Since he took damage, I have to make a saving
what is
throw
that
for
for
him.
Genius.
And if he fails the saving throw, he's not flying anymore. And with an 8 total, and you see him fuck. He is trying to cast
worst
a
move ever.
new spell in order to maybe save
Gonna
himself.
slap everybody in the story.
Absolutely. It is an amazing move you just did there, Tumpy.
Tumpy, That was the most amazing throw I've ever seen.
But a lot of people
So
are
the
saying,
guy just fell.
It's obvious that as he was plummeting down, he's like, sees the hurricane right below him and he goes, no, boom. And suddenly he stops falling with full speed. Instead, he's falling like a feather, drifting downward very slowly. And he's getting ready to, on his next turn, start casting something else.
Go help Matthias. I can take it from here.
all right, okay, all right. I didn't leave.
Absolutely. You start to run down the stairs, not jumping any distances or anything. So you're right next to, Matthias double moves. So you see Matthias 30 feet ahead of you. He's at the basement steps. You're heading for the basement steps. Yeah. Knight Matthias runs down the stairs, but he sees you following him and he says, come with me, men. Let's go. You're just another knight following after him. And that will bring us to the Air Titan's turn next. It actually is getting its turn, and I am going to roll to see who it is going after. It's going after you right now, Chadrick, with its first attack, and then you with its second attack right now.
what we're hoping
Luckily, you have it has disadvantage on these attacks against you. The first one is going to be a 21.
Oh, no.
Does that hit your armor class?
It just hits my armor class.
Absolutely.
With disadvantage, that hurts.
And, okay, minimum damage. That is going to be 14 from that attack coming your way.
Okay.
And, this one was a 14 with the disadvantage.
Well, I think I have to roll a concentration check, unfortunately. Please have my brain do good. A 10.
A 10 is exactly enough. Against 14 damage, you just need to get a 10 or higher. There you go. You held onto the spell. It gave disadvantage to the second attack. The second attack failed against you. Absolutely. And then the wind begins to pick up more speed. As it ends its turn, I would like you to please make a strength saving throw to maintain your grip on this island.
So 22.
22 is enough. You are not getting ripped off of this island. And General Ventheris is up next. He sees just barely through a inflamed eye. He's got a big black eye and he's bleeding badly. He sees you, Chadrick, and he tries to almost paddle through the air to get to you. I'll let you roll his athletics checks to swim through the air towards you, but he has disadvantage right now. 14. That is not enough. He's going to try again with his action, because even though his sword is magical and could maybe harm this elemental, he does not think that's the best strategy. He's got his sword in one hand still, and he's trying to paddle towards you.
You got a 8.
Is not enough. He gets pulled further away from you on that second one. Any progress he made towards you with the first action, he got yanked back with his move. And he just shouts out, Chadrick, protect the city!
No matter the cost.
No matter the cost! And he's gesturing, and you can just barely tell, he's gesturing away from himself. And you realize he's pointing back toward the bastion of the edge, the fortress of the knights. That is the end of his turn and the beginning of Sigmund's turn next. Sigmund.
So what is happening on this bridge? I have a child underneath me.
The child, right now seems to be, you're not the main target. It seems like he's fighting things inside of him right now. People are fleeing from the bridge, and the bridge seems relatively cleared at this point.
So I'm going to look to this young child and say, run! And I'm going to push him off in the other direction.
Just as a free action, make a persuasion check on that kid.
Please, natural one. Please.
As long as you don't get a natural 1, just don't get a 1. 11, you're fine. That's just enough that it requires the push. But as soon as he stumbles forward, he looks back at you. Thank you, sir. And he runs away from the bridge. The bridge is now pretty much clear.
All right, question. I would like to throw a thorn whip at, I think, Chadwick.
No.
But was a general. But I would like to throw it without the thorns. I want it to be simple vines that I throw to grab.
I will allow that if you can make a nature check to
I'm so good with
alter you're doing it one way or another. Let's see if there's no thorns. Natural 1.
A 7.
A 7 is not enough. You try to minimize the thorns, but the spell typically does grow the thorns, and you're trying to modify the spell. You're not able to do it quickly enough. You're like, no thorns, and they start to sprout. You're like, no, come on.
If I see this, I will look at you and be, believe it or not, I meant to be here.
I will throw it at Chadwick.
Go for Chadrick and make an attack roll with disadvantage.
It's an 18 at disadvantage.
18 with disadvantage. That doesn't hit your armor class, right?
No.
So it's very close to him right now and like within arm's reach. A very easy athletic check will allow you to reach out. You'll only take 1d6, not the full damage, just 1d6 if you grab on to this thing with both hands.
I'm not going to do it, but how funny would it be if I thought you were trying to come up? And I was just like, yes! We're
Yes!
The
little boy's like, no! Oh yeah, I'm fucking leaning back.
But do you grab it or not?
No, I don't know what you're trying to do, but I'm trying to take all the heat.
Okay.
He's got this vine whip trailing next to Chadrick as an option, but you can see he's not taking the option. Yeah. Do you cut the vine whip at this point, or do you leave it there?
Yeah.
I just am like, what am I even doing on this bridge? Dogbreath, fuck. And then I cut the whip and I go.
You get the whip. Just roll a d20 real quick, and as long as you don't get a 1, that whip of thorns won't hit anyone in the face. 13. You're fine. It just whips off it kind of into the air, sort of. Fuck. It gets launched.
Walk me through it. I don't know what you're trying to do.
I'm going to just slowly walk towards this creature, extending my arms, wait for the rest to my next turn as I start to slowly, perhaps even be pulled inside. We'll see.
He's doing it.
Starting to believe.
He's doing the druid thing I was waiting for.
Absolutely. Happen. You're not trying to like attune with this creature or anything.
I'm just realizing that he's not coming out.
Are you hoping to be more of a target?
No, that was an inadvertent consequence.
Just making sure you're not getting this thing's attention.
I'm just walking forward with my eyes closed, like trying to attune to the plants and be like, what do you want me to do here? I cannot control the wind. Dogbreath has me all confused.
Back to you again, Dogbreath. What would you like to do?
Before Tumpy leaves the room, say, Tumpy! Fuck yeah!
All right.
You may need to protect yourself. And I'll hover.
You start to hover. Do we see what is making you hover right now, or?
Of course not. It's super sweet hovering.
You just hover. I love it.
Yeah, so now I'm hovering out the window. And I have my staff in hand. And I've seen so much bravery. With the power of tune, this guy is just getting a bad word, but fucked. It's just Ben getting beat up. The tune's blessings are all over him. And I'll look at my staff. Back at the destruction of the city.
This staff is a sacred relic of the faith of Attune, beloved by the city as a sign of the office of the Archpriest, a title you don't technically hold.
You've trusted me once, Attune. Don't break the staff!
Oh, dude.
You break the staff of peace. You are hovering in the air. Those people who are looking up at you, and it's probably half the crowd as you come floating out, and many people are saying, it's Dogbreath, he has the staff of the Archpriest. And there are many priests of Attune in the crowds trying to heal wounds and help people and offer like their bonds to protect people and give them better saving throws, and one old priest just faints, and that is when you see in the crowd, you hadn't seen her because she was really surrounded by other people, Mother Augusta.
Ooh, that
covers
hurts.
her mouth in horror as she sees what you are doing.
I raise the cross to the sky. A weak skeletal hand holding the staff of Attune, and I cast divine intervention.
And as you activate your divine intervention power, suddenly everything freezes around you. The air titan is frozen in mid-motion. Your friends who are trapped inside of the air elemental are frozen in place. Chadrick clinging to the rock. Sigmund about to be immersed inside of this air titan. Even Tumpy looking at you out the window, like as he's running down the stairs, looking back at you. And then you're not here at all. You're in a room of pure, radiant white light. And standing before the golden throne of Attune once more. You have spoken to your God in the 30 years since this last happened, but never in any of your visions have you seen Attune. Not since the day that you died, Dogbreath, and came back as something different.
I'm fucking dead again, damn it!
And you hear A laugh from the golden throne, and you see like a sunrise. Not a face, but what appears to be almost a platinum mask where the face of a tune would be. But you cannot make out the features of it because it is just pouring forth light.
I cast oh, Holy One. I ask humbly in this time of need for your help. The city is under attack, and close my eyes. And I cast a 5th level planner binding for those at home. It's super sweet, but takes a long time to cast.
Under ordinary circumstances, a planner binding spell would cost a whole hour to cast. And you're asking a tune to give you this spell as a 1-action move right now with your action. And if it is successful and it fails a saving throw, then this air titan will be bound not to whoever's controlling it now, but to you instead. Before there can be balance and peace, there must first be division. You have broken my staff. You will reforge it again. And instead of a 10% chance of this working, by breaking the staff, you have increased the odds all the way to 50.
Yeah!
But you've got to get, do you want to take a 51 or higher or a 50 or less?
I look to my squad in the eyes. Do we like high numbers or low numbers? Okay, 50 and above. I trust whatever your plan is for me. And I'll close my eyes and roll the biggest roll of my fucking life. Everyone's gonna fucking hate me if this doesn't work. 87!
87. Originally it would have been a 90.
Thank you for picking high.
Or higher. So you needed to break the staff. But because you broke the staff, you got a really good roll by these standards. And you can tell you're not just doing a 1-action planner binding. Your planner binding has been overcharged.
I thought I immediately got it.
Oh, no. It's still going to make a saving throw, but you've imposed disadvantage. Plus, one other thing is happening. As you surge forth with this planner binding spell, the wizard who is drifting down to the ground, he looks at you, and he's going to make an Arcana check to see if he knows what it is that you're doing. He does know what it is you're doing, and he roars, "No!" and attempts to counterspell your planner binding, Dogbreath.
No!
You are going to need to roll a d20 plus your wisdom, but Attune is giving you advantage on this.
Oh! I don't even need to roll again.
Critical.
No, a 19 and then a 15.
Absolutely.
Well, so a 24.
He wastes his reaction attempting to counterspell a spell.
Wait, he
He's
doesn't
like,
even have a reaction, my guy.
He's a
already
guy.
fell.
Oh my gosh, hold on.
I'll take that wisdom save for another time.
Saving that one. Put that in the bank.
100%. He's making a saving throw right now. So
He doesn't get to use that.
Absolutely.
That 19 is mine.
There's no counterspell.
I'm never rolling again.
It is not enough with a natural 5 plus whatever his bonus is. He is failing his charisma saving throw against your planner binding. And you know what? The wizard, there was going to be one final roll. He was going to attempt to contest you for control. You are aware that this wizard had a planner binding spell cast upon this air titan already, and Attune immediately with that 19 you rolled obliterates his existing planner binding spell, and you now have solo control over this air titan Dogbreath, which looks at you and then goes passive, staring at you, and slowly the crowd realizes it's looking at you with an obedient.
So I get to do something with this thing? Okay.
On its next turn, it will obey whatever command you give it right now. Plus, it has legendary actions it has not used yet.
Mine! And I send the Titan, just like a punch of vortex air, and it sends that wizard spiraling towards the fucking portal that I opened up by mistake.
Absolutely.
With a mistake.
As a legendary action, it can send one tentacle strike right now at that wizard to send him hurtling through the air. Roll with advantage because he's just floating in the air. He's like, oh, gotta get out of the way. But he's like, it's like paddling through the air. He can't do anything.
18.
You absolutely see the mage armor flare up. He punches up, and then a tendril wraps around this guy that was the fist that kind of rolled into a tentacle, wraps around the wizard, and he goes, no, you are mine! And it just roars up at him and sends him hurtling through the air through the portal. Well done, Dogbreath. He disappears into the plane of air, and we do not see that wizard anymore. He turns back towards you like a dog looking for approval. He just cocks his face a little.
Okay, I wanted him to get real small and basically come into the palm of my hand.
Okay, so what we see happen first of all is he begins to narrow. We see him
stop throwing this guy around and stop killing everything.
As he begins to narrow into like a more of a dust devil, more of like a really not a wide cone, but just a tendril at first, the chunks of the bridge that he has had rolling around in his body begin to fall from the air one by one. Suddenly, like it's emerging out of him, like it's being pushed out as he narrows. The chunk that has Chadrick gets ejected and begins to hurtle down towards, I'm going to roll to see whether it's hurtling towards land or the water. It's hurtling straight into the river. Chadrick, what do you do at this point?
I don't get reactions, so I just hit the water.
Right.
I just drown in my
hitting the water. Just make an athletics check to brace yourself on the water.
25.
25 is enough. You take 1/4 of the damage you would have taken, which instead of 11 is going to be just 5 points of damage as you splash into the water.
Not a problem.
Now the general is also getting ejected from out of this. You could leap from the rock, taking the same 5 amount of damage, and try to catch him. So make an athletics check for him with a +8 with advantage.
I got 18 plus 8, 26.
26 is also enough that he only takes 5 damage. He's up to 71 damage, and he has 1 hit point left. General Ventheris. You surface, holding on to him in both of your sets of plate mail, just barely treading water. And make one more athletics check with disadvantage, just to make sure you're treading water right now.
17.
We're 17. You are able to fill your lungs fine. You're not drowning. But then at the end of your turn, he's like, thank you to, and then both of you are kind of sinking down and you're like, shit, like you got to get to the shore sooner rather than later. And the air elemental continues to condense down into a narrow cyclone. You are safe from it now, Sigmund. And then it begins to shrink down, both from the top and from the bottom, condensing into this super high-speed orb of air that is almost as big as you are, Dogbreath. That's as small as he can get. And as he flies towards you, he hovers above your hand. And you can tell that if you were to stick your hand into this orb, your hand would get torn off. That's how high speed.
We're friends. And I look at the air elemental.
See its face, look out.
Destruction is shitty, and then I'll look back up to the portal, and I begin hovering towards it.
You begin hovering towards the entrance, the rift to the elemental plane of air. Well done, Dogbreath. And then we notice someone leaping across the rooftops in a giant mechanical suit. Everyone here knows who this individual is because even the druids who don't come into the city have heard stories of the son of the Voy Thoy Mac, young Trey, who has gotten older since season 1. Trey is arriving, leaping from rooftop to rooftop, and then landing on a rooftop near the river, seeing Dogbreath hovering along inside the suit that he is piloting, which looks like a big orb of a torso, which he is looking out from with a little bit of a glass protective visor, and then it has these giant gorilla-like mechanical arms that he's using to stabilize itself on the rooftop. And then you are noticing that his attention is not so much on Dogbreath. He shakes his head for a moment and then looks up at his father, Mac, who is hovering in the air, following after Dogbreath, heading towards the rift with all of his tendrils trailing behind him, as though he is going to be heading towards the rift along with you, Dogbreath. And Trey shakes his head anxiously. Mac, at this point, flies through the air and sidles up next to you, Dogbreath. And he says, Dogbreath, what are you doing, old friend? I think right now, both of us have drawn quite a bit of concern from the citizens here. I don't know if you've ever seen me like this before, and he gestures at the wings of aberrant tendrils behind him. But the truth is, my friend, I've never seen you like this either. And he gestures at the elemental that you've got contained next to you, like it's your pet now, and the broken staff that is in your hand.
So I pull my thing down. We all have our secrets, Mac. But we did it today. And it's not over.
It's not over. But maybe it's over for us right now, friend. I don't think you should go through that rift, not without help, not without your friends, not without the huggers. I don't know if I can follow.
I'll shake my head for a second. I've been consumed by my rage of a tune, my rage of love.
He says, we've gotten control of the situation. That's good. Now I think we need to try to smooth things over.
Oh shit! I'm gonna hover down and
Your friends. He starts to fly down with you a little bit. He's got a flying speed. He could help out here as well.
okay, I'm gonna help Chadrick get out of the water. I have, I think, pretty good thematic things. That was amazing. Bring him out of the water.
You're kind of reaching to the water. I'll let you roll for Mac as well, and you're giving Mac advantage.
Natural one.
Oh, right now you dive into the water,
Yeah,
and both of you surface. Did you find them? You're the paladin.
No.
You don't find anybody in the water. They're sinking right now. And that brings us to Chadrick's turn next. Chadrick, what would you like to do?
I'd like to survive.
You can attempt an athletics check with a move, and if that doesn't go well, you can try with your action, but as long as you're holding on to the general, you have disadvantage on this.
No, I hold on.
I'm just gonna start making. Chadwick was the greatest knight this city has ever had.
Okay.
We'll remember him.
First is 28. It's disadvantage. Synthetic 20.
Synthetic 20 is enough that you pull up to the surface, and as you surface, Mac
Attune will
and
have him in his
Dogbreath,
halls. He will be remembered for the city.
they are able to get you at least to the shore to start climbing out of the water. And at this point, the knights of the division and the other civilians who are on standby nearby are able to kind of lend their aid, throwing down ropes, reaching down hands, and pull both you and the general onto the shore. As you flop onto the shore, the general kind of rolls over and he just checks. Dogbreath, you're right by them right now. You've helped
I
them
think
onto
I
the
tried to
shore.
help, but I didn't really.
Absolutely. He just turns to you and says, with a whisper, what was that about? What did you think you were doing?
Saving the city.
You weren't saving the city. And he makes sure no one is around to hear, starts to stand up, but almost like pushes you back so that only the two of you can hear this. He says, you weren't saving the city, you were saving me.
I took a lot of heat back there, actually. I saved the bridge. I saved everybody. I did exactly what you taught me.
You did save me. I'll admit that. You saved a lot of the civilians. What I need you to do right now is to save the city in a different way. And his eyes keep flickering over to Dogbreath.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm just gonna lay on hands him and just try to heal. Maybe he took some head damage. I don't know what's happening, so I'm just gonna heal him a little bit.
He's 71 hit points down. How many hit points would you like to give him with lay on hands?
I'll give him another 10. Yeah, so he's on the brink of death. Now he's maybe better. And I walk up as I'm healing myself. I don't understand. We saved the elemental.
We'll talk after all this. Meet me at the headquarters. You know where. And he starts to get up and start to head over to the civilians. Back, everyone. This is a disaster zone. I want everyone clear. The bridge is unstable. I repeat, nobody on the bridge, no one close to the river. We don't know what stone is loose and what might happen next.
I've run over to the edge of the bridge, and I imagine I catch the little boys that run just a bit in front of me.
Yes.
I take my hand, I produce a good berry for him, I say, you did great, lad. Here you go, try this. And give him a little.
He's surprised, and he begins to gorge upon this big old berry, and you see little scrape on his knee, little scratches healing away. And he goes, thank you. Do you follow a tune?
I follow Dogbreath.
Why did he do it? Why did he break the staff?
Sometimes, in order to do the right thing, you have to do a bad thing. I just tousle his hair and walk away because I'm I'm out of folk wisdom for now.
He's a little skeptical, kind of like, oh my gosh, interesting. And then you notice that his attention turns, Mac! And he's very distraught. As a young kid, he's the one being most visible about this. He's very distraught, seeing almost like something's happened to good old Mac, the robot who we all love. He's got tentacles growing out of him. And you notice that up on the rooftop, Trey, who is a grown man in his 30s, frozen with his hands on the controls of his big battle suit, and he begins to slowly climb down. Tumpy, we're out of initiative at this point, but I do want to emphasize that you had time kind of to run down the stairs after Matthias, enough to see that he was getting the Geminods, the people who have gone into comas, out. And just as they are being kind of slowly moved out of the room, that is when people are starting to realize, yourself included, that whatever was happening outside has calmed down. People are talking amongst themselves rather than shouting, and the hurricane has stopped.
I look at the Geminods.
Well, this really seems like a lot. I'm gonna come down here. What am I doing? I walk behind a post somewhere in the building, and I walk at the other side.
Oh, yeah, that was a long nap, I suppose, probably. And it was quite strong of a nap. But let's see what's going on outside, eh?
Absolutely. As you head outside, the first thing you notice is almost like she's backtracking to find you. Her eyes light up. It's Jenna Tumptress in her half-orc Knight of the Division form. And of course, she recognizes your Tumpy human form. Her eyes light up, and she runs over to you. You're okay.
I'm great. Did you see the flying paddle?
That was you.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
That's pretty sweet.
Why? And she sees some people running, but why'd you do that? Throw your paddle at him? That was incredible.
It was incredible, right? And I've been doing that. I did that before, and you should be probably very impressed. And I've been slapping people with it.
It took that guy out of the sky. I don't know if they would have been able to grab him if it weren't for you. So Tumpy, I guess you kind of saved the city. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Keep this up, and maybe we can. Maybe our family won't have to live the way we've been living, right?
That would be quite fantastic, I'd say, probably. But what I was telling you, I got a vision of Tumpy. And she had a crystal. She had a crystal orb or something, and she was being weird. She was casual, frankly too casual when you look at what she was doing. But
yeah, casual. Does she know we're looking for her? Does she know we've been looking for her for years?
You say she's got no idea. She's got no idea at all.
That would be her, though.
I know she's quite clueless in some cases. But she was in the plane of air or something.
This is a problem. How are we gonna get to her? Okay, first of all, we should take stock of the sisters that we have track of. Mary Lou Tump, I don't know where she's been the past few days. Do you know where she's been?
Mary Lou Tump, that's a great question, and I'd say probably she's having fun, I'd say.
Probably having fun, that fits her. Probably somewhere in the city?
Probably somewhere in the city. I wouldn't worry. She's okay. Yeah.
Please make a deception check.
Okay.
And against your own sister, you have disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's a natty 1.
It's a natty 1. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She didn't do well at her insight, and she goes, wait, is she not in the city? You met her. What was she doing? She was up to something, wasn't she?
She was being reckless. And frankly, you would have been disappointed. So, yeah, it was quite bad.
So what happened? Where is she? She's in trouble, isn't she?
Well, probably. I don't think she's in... Just slow down. She's a little mad at me. I said some mean things. And frankly, they were warranted. But she's
I'm sure they were, but what did she do?
She sort of ran away, and don't get mad, but she sort of ran away, and she left a cryptic letter, and it was so sad.
Tumpy, what do you mean ran away? Like she's in the city?
No, like ran
right?
away, like put her knife into a letter, and I picked it up, and it was like a dramatic moment for me. And I had to say, wow, she really ran away, and it was still sad from that, probably. So.
Okay, so, but she ran away in the city? Do you think she's somewhere in the city right now?
Well, and don't get mad, I don't think so. I think she ran away. So don't get
Did
mad.
she follow you out of the city? So she ran away outside of the city.
I would say, if I'm going to be honest with you, which I think you're making me, I'd say she.
And her face, as she does this, she pulls her hands away, and she has rubbed her face so hard that her face is drooping down off of her skin, like it is hanging down. Like this is obvious that this is not her normal skin. Somebody passes by and just goes, "Whoa!" and she just goes, "Oh!" rubs it back into place.
She's got the flu. It's not a bad case of the
It's the flu. Just a bad case of the flu.
Doesn't look good on this half orc, I'd say. Probably not so good. Already
just
ugly.
rubbed too hard.
Already an ugly person.
And she gives them a glare, like, keep moving, and they rush off, and she, like, waits for them to go. So we've got 2 sisters missing now. One is in the middle of the plane of elemental air, and then the other just ran away and is somewhere in the forest of Ever outside of the city right now.
That's right.
So what you're telling me is you were now worse than we were when we started
Well,
here.
but excuse me, did you see what I did with the paddle? It was so great. And the people were saying so strongly. And I know you were so proud of me so strongly. So we'll not glance over that, but you're right about the 2 sisters part. Yeah, that's totally right.
And you're right, that was pretty cool. Okay, if I have to admit it, that was the most impressive thing anyone's done.
I would say, if I'm going to be honest with you, Jenna Tump, that we should probably get the sister who's in the air thing. Mary Lou Tump runs away once a week. She's so dramatic.
This is true. Wouldn't be the first time she said she was running away. Would be the first time she did it outside of the city walls, in the middle of Fey territory.
That's right. No, you're making it as big as it probably is, but don't make it so big. But the other sister, I learned some great information. That's a good deal. That's a great thing. You say, I'm so proud of you, Tump.
Tumpy, I'm not going to say I'm so proud of you, but I am going to say that I'm happy that you know roughly the world where Tumpietta is. I think right now she's the sister who can't find her way home. She sounded pretty casual. I hope she's been trying to figure out a way home, but if she hasn't made it back yet, assume she can't do it. Mary Lou Tump, I have to hope, can find her way back home. And so we'll stick with that hope, and maybe we should go for Tumpietta.
Okay, Tumpietta. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's exactly right. Let's do it. Great.
Now, I don't know if the Knights have any way to get her back, but I've heard rumors that they've been studying the Geminots.
Why?
They're linked to the elemental planes, and she points at the one who has been brought out, the levitating human woman. She says, maybe you can use that person as a way to use what the Knights know. And we were told by Matthias they have spells that might allow us to use the Geminod links.
That's brilliant. That's so smart. But she's in a coma. You want me to slap her? I could slap her.
No. She's got to stay in the coma. As long as she's linked to the plane of air, which all signs the Knights think she is, you can use her potentially as a link. But only the Knight Commander really knows about that sort of forbidden magic.
Right.
So
Is that Knight Commander's Matthias? Is it? Right. I knew that.
Now, Jenna Tumtress doesn't know that Knight Matthias has already mentioned to us that he has this spell to potentially use the Geminod links to plane shift. And more importantly, she doesn't know that there's a rift in the air, it seems.
I don't know that, right?
You don't know that either,
Right.
to be fair.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Dogbreath is the one who knows this right now. And maybe some people saw the wizard get hurtled through some sort of an opening, but only a few people got a clear glimpse of the fact that there is a rift in the air, and only Dogbreath knows it leads to the elemental plane of air where that titan
Right.
came from.
Let's find my friends. There's a reason I wanted to say that they're so smart. Some of them are so smart, some are not so smart. Some are great people. Some love me so strongly. But let's say hello. And I think they'll know how we can do what we need to do. That was a good idea. That was good. That's good.
These friends of yours, they don't know anything about you, right?
Well, most probably they don't know. They know nothing. They don't know. They don't know.
Okay.
They know nothing. You don't know. They don't know.
Make a deception check with disadvantage again.
16?
And she just goes, if you say so. And you know with your insight, yes, just barely, that she doesn't believe you. She's not asking you for more information, but she thinks that someone in your friend group knows something that they shouldn't know.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, let's
All
go.
right. She kind of blends in among the knights as you head over to your teammates. Yeah, so she's moving with you, but moving amongst the groups of knights that are moving to and fro.
So we, as a bridge, I will run up to, I imagine, where Chadrick is catching his, like, coughing up water. Here's a berry. Nice. And I give one to the other guy. Humans.
Oh.
Chadrick, didn't mention your name, but
Thanks.
Tim did. Here. I give him a berry.
As he's trying to get control of the crowd, he looks over at you. One of the druids. Thank you. He takes the good berry, munches into it. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I walk up.
Hey, boys, how we been? It's been a long while, I'd say. It was long afternoon, it looked like. But did you see the battle in the sky?
But how did you get in the city? We lost track of you.
Right. I know great people. I know a lot of great people, and some of them got me in so quickly because they love me so greatly, much like you do as well.
Of course. Do I see the paddle in the...
Make a perception check. Anybody who wants to look for the paddle can try a perception check.
I'm also holding this.
17.
With a 17, you do not see Tumpy's paddle.
But I see him carrying Dogbreath. I see him with Dogbreath's hammer.
Carrying the.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I have
Absolutely, you do. Yeah.
I'm starting to put pieces together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk over and extend my hand for the my fucking hammer.
Oh, you want this back?
I say, I'm incredibly proud of you.
Thank you.
What you did back there.
Right.
Was incredible.
This isn't for me to keep. You need this
I
back.
just have my hand outstretched.
This is, you're not going to say anything. You just want to take this. This is what's going on. Okay. Well, I have to go get the paddle then. I mean, it's an inconvenience probably for all. That's fine. That's fine.
What happened to the thing in your other hand? Is there still like a...
There is still hovering over your hand this almost the size of dog
Oh, we're
breath,
being so
bigger than
casual
his
about
head.
Yeah, so I'm gonna cast thaumaturgy, or what? How do I say it? Thaumaturgy. People of Riven, the city is saved. Please return to your homes. We will take care of the damage. Go away.
Dog breath, please roll persuasion on this crowd with disadvantage.
You didn't like what I had to say there?
Hesitate. And they're
Natural one. I'm not gonna even roll the.
Oh my gosh. People begin to shout, heresy, broke the staff, well, why, and was working with the elemental. And most of them begin shouting at Mac. And aberrant magic. And the knights are closing in, we are realizing, converging around Mac, not with blades out or anything. That's why we didn't notice that they were forming a perimeter around Mac. They are almost taking defensive stances and just watching him very carefully, hemming Mac in. And he seems almost resigned. He lets the tentacles go limp and then begin retracting into his body. And at that moment, Trey, in his mechanical suit, the son of Mac, lands, leaping from the rooftop in that clearing that people have formed around Mac. Knight Commander Matthias comes running out and he says, everyone listen, Dogbreath, it is as he said, we should all go home and the knights are going to clean. How can we trust the knights? The knights betrayed the city and now you've been keeping an aberrant monster in your midst. And you see Matthias looking back at Mac and Mac just looking sadly down at the ground. And he says, loud enough for everyone to hear, because everyone is almost like waiting to see what Mac has to say in his defense. He says, Matthias, don't. We knew this would happen. I should go. Once people found out, we knew this was how it was going to go. And Knight Commander Matthias says, listen, everyone, we need Mac. Whatever magic he may command is... And then from his battle suit, Trey interrupts and says, Matthias, my father should go. We talked about this. We knew this would happen. Dad, it's for the city. Go, please. And Mac just nods and begins to lift up with just a few of the tendrils trailing behind him, like he's trying to minimize how much he shows them. He begins to lift up off the ground, float across the gap of the river to the other side.
Before he goes, I'm going to
Dogbreath, I'm sorry.
I'm going to say, once a hugger, always a hugger. Our work is not over and I will not abandon you. And then no, I can't have it. I can't. I have a giant. I'll do an air hug.
He goes for the air hug from across the bridge. He gives the air hug, and in your mind, you hear him telepathically say, Dogbreath, this isn't good public relations for you. You don't want to be associated with me anymore. It was only a matter of time before they found out. I'm going to go. But once a hugger, he makes the motion. He almost like seems to put his head like he would be resting his head on your shoulder. Always a hugger.
As he starts to go, I say, wait, Mac, did you work with Rowan? Did you plan the attack 30 years ago? And I draw my sword. I say, you can't just go. We need a trial. The people need to know what happened.
Around many people, without a persuasion check even, are agreeing with you. We're just gonna let him go? Another threat to the city? He's been lurking in our midst and now he's gonna... And you
We trusted you, Mac.
He's floating backwards away from you towards the walls of the city. And in your mind alone, Chadrick, you hear, what I did for the city, young lad. And you were not there to see what we had to do.
Then stay and explain it instead of running. If you had nothing to do with it, you have nothing to hide.
Make a persuasion check on him.
Oh, 21.
21. He looks at Matthias. And Matthias just kind of shrugs and looks at you, Chadrick. And he says out loud for the crowd assembled to hear, I will leave if that is what people want. And if the people of Riven wish me to stay and stand trial, that is what I will do then. And he waits to almost see the crowd reaction. The crowd starting to nod. You see Knight Matthias isn't too stoked about this, and even Trey goes, you should just go. You should just get out. And Max says out loud, no, if that is what the people want. And he gestures at Chadrick, who he is kind of viewing as a representative of the people right now. And General Ventheris is nodding his approval, kind of. This is obviously news to him, and he is approving of how you are handling this situation. He says, I will await trial then. That is only fair. And until then, and this is where Knight Commander Matthias goes, until then, he'll wait in the cells. And he looks almost like, is that okay with you, Mac? And Mac just nods. They must be having maybe a telepathic conversation. The cells, and everyone's like, wait, whoa, the cells? He'll escape. And he goes, the cells are warded against magic, even aberrant magic, especially aberrant magic. He will be contained. He will be kept in a magic circle, and Mac will have no influence on the city outside of his cell until he awaits his trial. Fine. And Mac comes floating back, and a formation of knights falls in ahead of him, on the sides, and behind him. As he lands, the tentacles completely retract, and they march him back towards the fortress. As he's about to disappear around the corner, someone else hears a telepathic message in their mind. Tumpy.
What's up?
You've never really met Mac before today. You've heard stories about him, and you've seen him maybe helping out the city, helping out the Knights of the Division, manning the walls on occasion. And in your mind, you hear him say, I know that you're not what you seem to be. In fact, the last thing we should do right now is talk in front of anyone. But if you come to my cell, and if we're alone, I'd like to know more about you. And I'm sure you might like to know a bit more about me.
Compelling, strongly, and you spoke it without even saying it. I was like talking to myself. Thank you, that's great. I like a lot.
I was hoping to meet you outside the city.
That's not going to happen for you. Yeah, no, you're in a lot of trouble. I think that was crazy. I can't
Not
believe-
as much trouble. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
That's what I like to hear. Exciting, thrilling, probably, certainly. Cool.
If he has nothing to hide, then he'll be fine. And if
Well,
he was responsible, then he doesn't get exile. He gets death.
wow, I've never seen the side of this guy. That's crazy. Never seen that side. Okay. Learnings about a person.
Well, you were here, right? You were in the city. I mean,
Right.
the Aberrants killed hundreds of people.
Right.
We thought Max saved us from Rowan, the betrayer.
Right.
He could have been responsible for everyone's deaths, for all the damage that was caused.
That's a strategy some people have. That's okay. That's great. I will say, and I'm going to pivot quite quickly in some cases, but I'll say a lot of things going on with Mary Lou Tump and, Tumpy Henna, who's my other sister, you guys remember. The air thing, there's an airplane of air and she's in another element plane. And I heard this, she's got a crystal ball and you say, pay attention. And, and you say, and there's one of those people, the coma people, is an air person. And I think we can probably use it to go get Tumpy Henna.
But Tumpy, it's not even that complicated. Maybe it's more complicated. And I pointed to the hole in the sky.
Whoa. Whoa. Wow.
I look to Dogbreath. I say, because of the massive amount of power he just demonstrated, what do we do, Dogbreath? There's a hole in the sky.
I'm gripping the shit out of my hammer as I see the city turn on my greatest friend. Peace, division, and traitors. And look at the... I need more information.
Okay.
Please give me a minute. And I'm going to just hover.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Sending. Level 3. Full send. Button. Lunester! I talked to God. It was super sweet. I totally own this air elemental right now. Think I'm going to be out for a little while.
Be out for a... And then it cuts out. And then you hear a response. Dogbreath, you have done well. You have protected the city. I fear that the people of Riven may not understand, but I do. Well done.
I shake my head. Look at the portal. I created this. Stupid mistake. I'm going to the elemental plane.
Right now,
With the wind one?
Ashun has showed me in the halls to bring peace to this city, but there's a balance, and that balance has been tipped on this side of the scale. I must go and bring balance back. Cosmically!
Okay, slow down. You're gonna go alone? What are you doing?
he's not going alone. And then I stand, I walk up next to him. I look at you and say, Dogbreath.
Dogbreath.
I wish I had your courage. I'm with you.
And I extend a hug. Come in for it, big guy. Or small guy. What size guy are you?
I'm like a medium.
Come here, medium.
Big guy.
Extra regular.
I'll walk up too and I'll say, these attacks are getting dangerous. We have to save the city. We have to stop these portals.
Bring it in, brother. Also, whose side are you on?
I'm on the city side.
General Vintheris is still getting control of the crowd, trying to push people further away from the bridge, trying to push the crowd back, and he keeps glancing over at you, Chadrick, as though he can't reach out with his voice and doesn't want to, but he is communicating to you like, we still need to meet.
I get that. And at the same time, I saw what that one elemental did to the city, and I see this getting worse. And so I look at him and I salute, and then I point up to the portal, and I don't approach him.
He starts to, and he sees the rift in the air. He kind of tries to do it in a subtle way where people aren't noticing. He points at you and points at Dogbreath.
I'll put my hand up like this to tell him to just not do anything, and then I turn my back to figure out what the plan is.
Tumpy? What will it be?
Well, I would simply say that when you look at the portal, it's a scary thing, and I love to live. Some people don't love to live. I love to live. And so I said, well, there's other opportunities, and you look at the coma person, and I think we could probably...
You're coming, right, Tumpy?
Dogbreath.
He's waiting on Von Singh. And then I will super scan the water. Investigation? What is
Absolutely. You can roll investigation or perception, whichever's better.
it? 18.
I'd say with an 18, you find an oar, but it's from the ship. It's not Tumpy's cool battle paddle.
He just needs his battle paddle.
I can't believe we have this sentence. Great. Battle paddle. It's very good. It just popped out.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. It is a battle paddle. isn't it?
Everyone,
Right.
kind of pictured at a blade on it.
Together.
of your team or not, and
I'll search for
find the battle paddle.
Everyone, we're doing a
find
quick
the battle
little
paddle.
search, probably.
Find the battle paddle.
I guidance you.
I go up to the entire
Visa +4, Dogbreath.
I go up to the crowd.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, great people of Riven. There is a dire and probably terrible thing going on, and we need your help so strongly. The reward, and it will be so great, will go to whoever finds the battle paddle. And it looks like a great big paddle. You saw it fly through the sky. We don't know who threw it, but it was probably me. And I need your help. Who's with me, huh?
Roll a persuasion check on this crowd with advantage. Because some of them are like, oh yeah, that battle that like saved the whole fight.
And then I got a 24.
24. Some people begin to call out. At first, the word is spreading. Everyone, look, there's people getting ready to dive in the water. General Vinthers is like, no, stop it. And as people are combing out to look through the debris, there's kind of an area underneath, like along the water. You can go down like the French River style, and like there's an under area where there's like a market set up, and some people have like shelter and shade. And some people begin to call out, someone's got it down here. And there's like the crowd is motioning which way you should go. Somebody's got it. They're not bringing it to you. They're telling you where the guy is who has it. Do you follow where the guy is? As you rush down the steps into this area, they're like, this way. There's like kids leading you, a bunch of people leading you. It's an old man. There he is. And this old man in a cloak goes, what? And he's got your paddle in his hand. He must have fished it out of the water.
Well done, old man. You're so frankly old, and you're doing...
This?
Yes, we need it so strongly. Lots of great things are going to happen with that, and you're going to be rewarded so bigly for what you've done. So give me the battle paddle.
This is yours?
That's, well, yes, yeah, it's
mine. I found it.
No, we're not. We're going to play this game. Let me just say, do you like money? What do you like? You like money?
Yes.
Yeah,
He
money's
looks
great.
like he's a homeless dude.
Right. What if I told you I could, like a wish? Oh, I grant you a wish. I grant you a great wish with lots of money. If you give me that paddle, you'll say, how'd I get so much money? And it's probably because you gave me the paddle.
Okay. All right. Take
Thank
it.
you.
I get a wish. I get a wish. And with that 24, he's just prancing out. I got a wish.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just
The
walk.
hero saved the city, and I gave him the paddle because the crowd is also like, you did it, old man. Well done.
Thank you. Just walk straight back.
I'd like you to real quick make a perception check on your paddle.
22.
There's a kind of rift, a hairline fracture, you think, in the middle. And then you're realizing, no, it broke. And something fused it back together. And the way you threw it, and more importantly, not the way you threw it, but the way it got caught in the hurricane and just gone, it wouldn't be surprising if this thing broke. What's interesting to you is not only did it get fused back together, you think by magic, as you heft it up, runes, blue and purple runes, light up along the edge of it.
Whoa.
I'd like you to make an arcana check on these runes.
All right. We have a 15.
15 is just enough to know two things. Number one, your paddle is now a magical battle paddle. If anyone else were to notice that, that might be a problem.
Well, someone's going to get slapped to the sun again, I suppose. So we'll see what happens.
He's got a battle paddle.
I got the battle paddle, and it was so easy. Did you see that? It was awesome. So good. So anyway, we don't want to go to the coma. I like that idea. I heard it from my sister.
So I'll look at the rift and say your goodbyes. You have a few hours. Kiss your mother and babies goodbye. And we'll be leaving by daybreak tonight. Do what you got to do when they come back here.
I go with Dogbreath. I walk up to him. I say, "You've met my family. I have no one, but I want to be like you. Can I join you in these final hours?"
Of course, it would be an honor to fight alongside you. I saw that amazing thorn whip. Chadrick just didn't really need it. He had a power of attunement with him. So I'm sure where we're going, more thorn whips are going to be so important.
Stop, Dogbreath. I know what you're trying to say. I cannot control the elements, my family, so we don't do the druid thing, Dogbreath. I'm sorry, I tried my best out there, but
I grab his hand, but you can learn how to do the druid thing. You just need to plant your seed.
it's time to put tradition behind me. And I walk with Dogbreath.
Okay, as you guys just walk away while I'm saying something. Okay, I'm gonna go say bye to my mom and my sister. I'll see you guys here.
And I say, nightfall, Chadwick, nightfall.
Well, I think I'm going to run an errand, actually. It's just something I had to take care of, almost like a laundry, some people say. I'll be right back.
It's like impulsive lying.
Yes, I just go,
like,
there's no need to lie.
No need to lie.
You have hours of time.
I'm going to go to, what's that guy's name?
Mac.
Mac. I'm going to go
absolutely
see what that
has
guy's
you
talking
to his prison
about. See
cell.
what he's up to.
Meanwhile, Dogbreath, while you have set up camp, sort of, whereas everyone else has cleared out this area, the knights have formed a perimeter around the bridge and either side of the bridge to keep anybody from going to the wrecked or at-risk area of the water line. You've set up kind of a camp here, looking up at the rift in the air that pretty much everyone has started to notice now and is spreading rumors about, and all the more reason for the knights to kind of quarantine this area. Somebody is at the guard post of the knights, arguing with them. I need to get to Dogbreath. I need to get to Dogbreath. Make a history check with disadvantage to see if you recognize who this person is.
15.
With a 15, you just barely, at first you're like, who the fuck? And he goes, Dogbreath, it's me! And you're like, I've never met this guy in my life. He has sandy blonde hair. He's got kind of...
Please, no fans. No fans.
No, Dogbreath, it's me. And then you realize, it's a fan. It's your super fan. It's Terum. Terum is back. Terum Wimbleworther has been, every time you've come into the city, has managed to find you, even when you've been kind of discreet about your arrival. He has managed to track you down. He's like, Dogbreath, I have something for you. I got you something I need. It's important. I have something that he needs me.
He's not going to stop. Just take it from him.
And the knights are just like, fine. They let him through. It's Dogbreath, it's me. It's Terum Wimbleworther. Remember me?
Attune, bless you. What would you like?
Listen, Dogbreath, I got you these. I'm sorry I couldn't get you more. And he starts to pull out just healing potions. Not even greater healing potions. They're just regular healing potions. I didn't make as much money as I promised you I was going to make. I'm going to take on more jobs.
Wimblewater, incredible gift. Thank you.
Wimbleworther, actually.
So amazing. Let me
I
just
understand
take
you're very
one of
busy.
these. I don't want to bankrupt your family, so...
No, it's okay. My family is going to give me more money so I can buy you more potions. So you should take these 4. And don't worry, I'm going to try to keep finding work. But like until then, my family's going to keep giving me money. I mean, my dad's really mad. But like, I will keep buying you these potions. Please. And you know this about Terum with the 15. If you don't take the potions, it'll actually make him more upset than if you do. But also, you have your moral point is valid that his family is going bankrupt right now. This is not a rich family. They really shouldn't be spending money on healing potions. Just please, I just need to know that you're safe, Dogbreath. And he starts to cry visibly in front of you, Dogbreath.
I take the one half of my staff
For me?
The fuck on you.
Dog breath,
I take this out and he goes, for me, and I go, I kind of need to reforge this back together.
Oh, yeah, you should hold on to that, dog breath. Absolutely.
So this is like the symbol of a tune. It's been a part of the city for hundreds of years.
Absolutely.
Before you were alive, I just broke it. You gotta return it to at least working order. Like, like a movie store, you don't want to you gotta rewind the tape.
Absolutely.
So I take out a giant bag of all my money and I go say, blessings be attuned. Thank you so much for all of the work you've been doing. And I hand him all the money.
I will use this money to buy you more things. I promise you.
No, please, your parents need
but I
food.
will save one of the coins as a gift that Dogbreath gave to me. And I will tell my family that you are the greatest. They don't really like you that much, honestly, Dogbreath. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to keep working on that. And I will hold on to these coins until I can figure out what to give you. I remember the story of how you got that staff from defeating the imposter.
Blessings of a tune.
It's my favorite story. He's crying as the knights come up and just let's get this kid out of here. And he's like, I love you, Dogbreath. Dogbreath, I love you. And he's just being like, I love you. You're like, whoa, we got to scan this kid. This kid's possessed or something. And they lead him away as he is crying, thank you, Dogbreath, thank you. And he takes the gold. And you have 4 healing potions, regular healing potions, and that you got this from Tarim. One of the knights who comes by while you're resting also says, listen, if you're going out, maybe you should. And just roll. Would you like to roll an insight on this knight?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. It's just a half-orc woman, a large half-orc woman in armor. And she says,
25.
There's something about this person that seems very familiar.
Who keeps letting people into the restricted area?
She says, well, I'm one of the knights, actually, but something about this throws you off. You get the sense she's not for some reason. And she says, I just know they have a lot of useful magic in the evidence lockers and stuff. Dogbreath, I know the story of how you got help from the knights and you saved the city with some of the wands that they gave you. So I just think they might be willing to do that again. But just, I'd be really embarrassed if you told the knight commander that I gave you this idea.
Thank you. Your name?
Oh, my name is Vanessa.
Incredibly human name for an orc.
All my paperwork is in order, and if you ask the other knights, they will agree that they've met me before.
Yes,
like some knights.
I try to stay away from the paperwork. Thank you for verifying your identity.
Figured you might. She just smiles.
I'll take care of it, Dogbreath. Thank you. And I will go to the bastion and rush back.
Well, you go to the bastion. Knight Commander Matthias is there, having evacuated the Geminods. They're deciding where to bring the Geminods or whether to bring them back into the basement now that things are safe. And they're kind of landing on the fact that they can bring the Geminods back in. But Knight Commander Matthias is out there if you wish to ask him for help or something.
Matthias, I'm here on behalf of Dogbreath. He tells me that in times like these, he likes to steal from the evidence.
I hate to say it. I know exactly what he's... Don't say that in front of the... Let's talk over to the side. I know exactly what he's talking about. I was there, and frankly, the acting knight commander at the time had been revealed to be a traitor. It was very different circumstances. Make, with advantage, 1 persuasion check. But you need a 20 or higher to get anything here.
Let me emphasize, times like these call for drastic measures with a 16.
Certainly, if you had it, that's the desperate times were the advantage. And he says, listen, it's the last thing I can do with some people being discovered to have unnatural natures. The Max situation, the Dogbreath situation is frankly rather suspect. I can't be seen allowing people to just rifle through the date where we keep the dangerous magic. I'm sorry, whatever you're doing, you're gonna need to do it on your own.
Understood, thank you. And I will begin to walk away, find a private corner.
Just cries.
I'm sorry, mother. And I will, for the first time in many years since I was a young child, I will turn into an animal. I will turn into a mouse.
Absolutely.
Scurry right by along like it is an old suit that I used to put on. I sink into the senses and I slip around down the stairs into the private secret magical room.
Make a stealth check with advantage to represent the fact that even if people see a mouse, they probably wouldn't care.
16.
16 is plenty. There are a few knights who notice you, but they don't think anything of it. They're just like, they don't even comment to each other. As you're rushing by, you get downstairs. You see two things. The cells off to the left, where Mac is just sitting inside one of them. And then on the other side of the room, the evidence lockers, currently padlocked shut with a magical padlock right now. At the moment, the knights who would be guarding down here are upstairs getting the Geminods, and you have maybe a minute before another knight comes down to check on the basement, probably carrying a Geminod with them.
I use my telepathy, and before I speak, I say, "Do not scream. I'm a friend of Dogbreath's."
You're saying that to Mac?
To Mac.
Oh, that's right. Absolutely. You say you're a friend of Dogbreath.
Friend of Dogbreath's, please do not scream.
You're like almost overwhelmed by as you squeak. And he goes, well, that makes two of us.
A good mouse. And the good mouse...
The druid. I thought as much.
I thought what you did was very brave. And then I do not have much time. And then I go to the lock.
Careful is what Max says, and you can tell he's thinking something. But you could try to do an improvised picking of the lock. You could try to break the lock off.
I say, do you think this will set off any alarms?
Just nods slowly and starts to look around like he's moving over to keep watch for you. But he just nods slowly.
And having seen Dogbreath do this earlier in the day, this is a spell that I have seen before, but we do not do it often. I cast Dispel magic on the lock.
Just to see how many layers of the lock you're getting through. The alarm dispels automatically. Boom, it's gone. Then roll a d20 plus your wisdom to see how much of the lock's magic you get rid of.
Fucking A, man.
12. Runes fade on the lock. It's no longer a magical lock. It's an ordinary lock at this point.
I will take my fist and just
Gonna punch a padlock.
Yeah.
Need some help
You could
there.
punch a padlock.
Help.
my hand is throbbing. Yes, please.
He says, all right, I need to really reach out of this cell. And he seems to almost twist his arm, twist it again, and then you hear this odd and painful sounding snap as he dislocates his shoulder, moves out, and then reaches out far enough. He says, come on. In your mind, he's saying the prisons have an aura out so that normal people can't reach out to do magic, but they weren't accounting for Voithoid. There we go. I can feel the very edges of it. All right. And with just his fingertips beginning to glow blue, suddenly the lock shakes again, and then yanks itself off of the evidence locker, floats up into the air. And then he says into your mind, fuck, I'm gonna have to explain that. The air elemental, right? Probably. Place got a little shook up. You won't have to worry about this. It'll be my problem to deal with. Do what you need to do. Get what you need for Dogbreath.
I would just say thank you, Sir Mac. I'm inspired by your bravery. And then I walk in there and I just try to I'm not great at Arcana, so I'm just grabbing bonds.
You are seeing some stuff in the evidence locker. Make an Arcana check first just to see if you identify anything of particular interest. 8. Okay, with an 8, you're not identifying any of these items in here right now. Make an investigation check to see what you're noticing.
A 5.
A 5. You're just getting a glimpse.
Very dark.
There's just stuff in here, I'm just grabbing.
You see like a box full of gems, 2 boxes full of gems. You see some wands hanging up on the wall. You see some potions. You see a shield that looks like a 4-pointed shield, like a star, an 8-pointed star shield.
I will grab a little bit of everything. You take some gems, some wands, take some of this.
Max says, hurry.
I throw the shield on my back.
Roll a acrobatics or athletics check, whichever is better, to see how much of this you grab.
Roll big, please.
16. You are going to grab A total of 5 potions that as soon as you grab them, you're realizing they're greater healing potions. You grab 2 gems from the first box, 5 from the second one.
That's great. And then I become a little mouse. I say to Mac on the way out, thank you, I'm sorry for the troubles this might cause you. And I run.
As you start to run, he asks one more thing, but you know you don't have much time left. He says, you're a druid. Are you not afraid of me?
I in my little mouse, I look at him, I say, I have been afraid my whole life, and I'm very tired. So no.
Good luck. Tell Dogbreath, huggers forever.
Oh.
Make one more stealth check with advantage just to make sure you get out okay. 14. 14 is enough that I'm going to roll one check to see how suspicious the one knight who goes, that mouse, where's it going? Like, he noticed. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's keeping to the shadows. Interesting. And critical hit. He is super suspicious. He goes, okay, I think we're being infiltrated. I think something's polymorphed and it's there. 1 second. He's running after you. Make an opposed athletics check, but as a mouse, you have a +0 on this. And you need to beat a 21. You're not doing it without a critical hit.
19.
He runs after you and just barely goes, get that mouse. Let's see how many people are responding. 3 other knights hear what he's saying. They all begin to turn, and he, the original guy, casts Detect Magic on himself. His eyes begin to glow white.
Oh, shit.
It's a druid in disguise. That's a wild primal magic, everyone. He recognized and had time to communicate that it's not lighting up as aberrant magic. It's not lighting up as a wizard or a cleric. It's lighting up as druid magic. That's a druid in disguise. Then, for the 4 people in this room, one of them, a young page, goes, what about the one with dog breath? But no one's really listening to him.
He's just not popular in the group. He's just somebody cool needs to say it louder.
Shut up, Paige.
Yeah, loser.
Make another athletics check as they're trying to corner you in.
16.
A 16 is literally what you needed to get Sigmund. Pew, pew, pew. And as they're picking you up, you jump from one of their hands, run for the open door, and you are out the door just barely. But the knights are running after you right now. All 4 of them, plus no more. They're actually not calling out anymore. They're like, okay, 4 knights can't catch a mouse. We're idiots. Like, they're running after you now.
I would like to turn a corner, unveiled shape, and cast Pass Without Trace.
You are coming around the corner, you unwild shape, you notice that, let me just see how advantageous that, I don't know. There's no like piles of natural debris, there's just one box in this alley. A box with a few smaller boxes stacked up on top of it. Not the ideal situation for Pass Without Trace. You were hoping for maybe like a bush would have been ideal.
That's not great.
So you cast Pass Without Trace as your action, and then with your move, I will let you make the stealth check. No advantage, in fact, because of their mate. No, I'll give him advantage on his perception check with Mage Sight.
Ooh, that sucks. 17 total.
2, the one with Detect Magic, and another one begin to walk down the alley and start to even glance around the box. And they go to see, first of all, the one who doesn't have Mage Sight immediately notices you. Oh! Definitely notices you.
Okay.
Just go, you! What are you doing here? And they're just gonna roll real quick to identify one. They both shout, it's a druid! It's a druid! It's a druid! It's the druid! We got him, boys!
I'm walking by at this moment. I'm walking by.
You see down the alley.
You see like a
they're
mist of
shouting,
smoke.
It's that druid. In fact, one of them rolled well enough to go, it's Sigmund. I heard his name, it's Sigmund. And so they're shouting that. 2 guys in the alley, and then 2 more who are about to join them in the alley.
I'm walking now as, how we doing? I'm Sir Turlip again. Turlip, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, whenever I change forms, I sound like The Rock and then slowly become Scottish. That's how it goes.
Literally, all of them aren't questioning it, and one of them literally goes, Sir Tulip!
Hey,
Perfect.
how we
timing.
doing? Uh-oh, we got an intruder, huh? Crazy, guys.
Caught him. We've been infiltrated.
Guys, this seems like a whole scene going on here. Just wanted to say, Knight Commander Matthias said there's an urgent aberrant magic thing going on. I know, it's crazy. I need help. It's serious.
I just go take me and Sarah. I have sinned.
Okay, I'll handle him. You guys need your help.
He must have been a distraction, or he's part of a larger attack.
Gotta be that.
Make a persuasion check
Cool.
with advantage because you're a fellow knight.
I got 19.
Absolutely, with a 19. I'm just going to roll insight for the two who would be questioning this the most. Both of them just go, perfect. We'll go help Knight Commander Matthias. You take this person in. That's great news that you arrived when you did. Perfect. We got it. They draw their weapons and they begin rushing towards the bastion of the edge to locate Knight Commander Matthias.
Dude, thank God you said you were going to the prison.
I know.
That's right.
Yeah,
But every
literally perfect.
reason to justify
It's
being here,
crazy.
100%. I just give him a hug.
I just give a-
I say, the tulip is my favorite flower now, for real.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's up. What are you doing down here?
Dogbreath sent me to get magical items. I committed an abomination in the eyes of my family. I turned into an animal, and I stole the wands and the gems. But it doesn't matter now. We have to save the city. We have to save my brother.
How'd you turn into an animal? Can you do that? You can turn into animals?
Probably the same way that you turn.
Oh, no.
That you turn into
No way.
other people. I imagine. No.
What kind
You can make an Arcana check. And you can make a nature check. This is where we will roll the knowledge check to see what do you know about each other.
14.
Hey, with a 14, you've only heard the legends that druids sometimes are able to turn into animals. Yes.
I heard many moons ago, like, druids can do this kind of thing. But have you heard of a changeling? You know what that is? Maybe you're that. Are you that?
I rolled an 11.
At 11? No, you've never heard of the only means that you've ever heard of people disguising themselves are knights and other people who use arcane magic like wizards are sometimes able to use disguise self upon themselves, but it's only an illusion. If you touch them, your hand goes right through those illusions.
I say, some wizards can do it, but it's only an illusion. If you touch them, your hand goes right through the illusion.
Right. Yeah, right.
Are you one of the other druid circles?
Well, so I'm trying to read the room. And so what I'm trying to read is if I tell you, like, you seem like you'd accept me.
It's okay. Whatever's happening here, I understand why you might hide. That's what is important.
That is, yeah. Great. You should get out of here.
This is a great idea.
Yeah. I'm going to go that way. The laundry, as I was talking about, it's a whole thing.
Totally understood. And then I will fist bump,
Right.
and I walk back to the Dogbreath, and if I have time, I was like, okay, maybe you take watch, I take short rest. Pretty good. And if there's an hour, I would like a short rest.
Definitely have at least an hour. It sounds like Dogbreath is giving us a long rest.
All right, I'm back with Dogbreath. That's my
I'm
scene.
just trying to.
Absolutely, it's not working, Dogbreath. I'm sorry to say.
No.
Your staff right now just keeps shooting off radiant sparks as you try to weld it back together.
So I come back like 2 hours later. I haven't long rested. I have food, by the way. I have food from my mom, so I give it to everybody. I got pie, and it's homemade.
Wow,
Yeah.
super sweet.
Yeah, she's really nice.
You'd
Oh,
also
take a bite.
automatically notice he has a new shield.
Did you go to the forge?
No, this is a family heirloom. It's kind of a long story, but my dad was killed in the attack that Rowan and maybe now Mac did, and this shield was just given to me, and it's the only thing I have of him. So, yeah,
I'll put my hand on.
I cry a little.
okay. So yeah, air stuff. Let's do air stuff.
Thank you for sharing that feeling. And then I take off the shield. I say, I got this for you. I don't know if you need it right now, but I found it. And then I
Have a different shield.
I guess I'll try to put one on each arm and like swing it around. Does it work? I'm trying to be a gracious. I'm
You're
like, yeah,
wielding a
thank
shield
you.
in each hand. That could be, you can just shield bash and stuff.
Or to
I don't
Dogbreath, whoever wants it. I don't.
Oh, do you carry shields too?
I actually don't know technically.
You do use shields, yes.
Oh, I take the pointy one. I got this for you.
You can make an Arcana check to see if you know what this shield does. It is obvious that it has a rune in the center of it.
11.
With an 11, you don't know. This is definitely a magical shield, but you know more than that. You can also make an Arcana check. Sigmund has already tried and did not get one.
I got nat 20 on it. Arcana.
I'm tempted to call Evan over and give him secret information right now.
All right.
Yeah. Over here real quick. All right.
Sure.
All right.
I got a 12. Do I get secret information?
No. You know it is a magic shield.
Stop looking. You're a cheater.
I like the secrets.
That sounds good. Wait, that shield, I got a sense I don't like that shield, and I'll tell you why, because of my arcane, I know a lot of things, and I know that shield's going to bring missiles towards us. It's a missile shield. It's going to do bad things. I say we burn it. We probably burn it. We get rid of it. We put it somewhere very far, further than you've ever seen, probably. What'd you find, man?
Tumpy, Tulip, Tumpy. I found that in
Right,
the...
that was it.
I apologize. I found that in the evidence locker.
Tulip gave you the shield?
Tulips are my favorite flower. I include them in conversations. If you listen on the way over here.
I thought it was lilacs, but I don't...
It was lilac.
The seed thing, remember the seeds, roses, and
I listened the whole time.
Daffodil.
And I give Chadrick, it was the lilac.
I'll take the shield. That's good. Thank you. That's great.
Where do you toss it? Into the river is right nearby.
Yeah, let's get that in the river.
Boom! You throw it into the river. It splashes and begins to sink down, shooting off almost ominous red and black sparks.
I've done a great thing for us, and you might not know it, but I did it, and you'll be very thankful, and certainly, you should be now, but certainly later. Anyway.
I trust your instincts as I clutch my...
I feel very conflicted about Tumpy. I was like into him, and I feel very conflicted.
I thought I was going to get to be a 2-shield guy. This is like...
No, I've
worked very hard for that shield. Anyway, I begin to... I divvy up the rest of the potions and gems. I say I do not know what these do. And then the magical wand, I will keep for myself.
Any of these you're curious about, you can make Arcana checks.
I got a 19.
And with a 19, you know which kind. The 2 glowing gems are elemental gems. Each of them contains a trapped elemental that the Knights of the Division go around using these gems to trap elementals who have gotten loose. No doubt there are lots of that happening lately. And the first one is a fire elemental ruby. The second
That's
one
a fire elemental.
is another fire elemental.
Those are both
ruby.
fire
2
elementals,
fire
actually.
rubies
Yeah,
is
I
what
looked
you
at both
got.
of them.
And then you got 5 empty elemental gems. These can be used to try to make an elemental make a saving throw and then Pokeball suck them up into these gems. The wand, you know, is a wand of magic missiles. If you're attuned to this wand, you can fire off using its charges, these little homing missiles. As long as you can see the enemy, you will definitely hit them. Right now, however, you know an interesting detail. It's been depowered. It was too risky to leave it in there charged up, so it has 0 charges. But every day, every time we long rest, it will regain charges. So in fact, Tumpy, I'll let you roll a 1d6 plus 1. During our long rest, it's going to regain that many charges.
I got a 4,
So
5.
five. 5 charges.
5 charges. It's at 5 out of, I believe,
After
8
our rest.
charges.
After our rest,
After
yeah.
your rest, 100%.
So, and I will say, I looked at Chadwick, I looked at Tumpy. I say, will you throw your battle paddle? Very good. But you struggle to get in range. But one of you likes this.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, it's cool.
Not in the water. Not in the water.
I'll hold on to that for good measure.
All right. That is what I've procured for us.
What are we doing with the 7 Pokeballs?
Oh, I will give everyone an empty one.
Okay.
I will hold out one of the fire gems. And I will say, I think I should hold on to one of these. I feel that it called to me.
As you kind of bring that one closer to your chest, just roll me a d20 real quick.
11.
11 is fine. Nothing happens.
But shall we take a rest, Dogbreath, or should we set out now?
We should take a long rest.
Long rest.
I would like to do that, but before bed, I would just I've introduced you all before, but I hold out my little hand and I cast Speak with Plants. Friedrich, it was a big day today. We became closer. Sure. I say, secrets were shared. Chadrick did not accept my vine.
Yeah. Was happy with where I was.
Confusion. But we are getting more in sync, Friedrich. And I think very soon everyone would like to speak to you and hear from you, and hopefully you're feeling better after what happens the other day.
Room. Yes. Good. I am still growing roots deep. Thank you, Sigmund.
I say one final thing before bed. I say, I hope you are not mad at me for the abomination that I had to do today.
Never. And everyone can, with the long rest, get full spell slots.
And then there's this wind elemental that's just chilling. That's Tori.
Sorry.
Can Tori talk to me?
Tori, as you try to engage Tori, lets out a howl. I'm going to ask what languages you speak.
Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Sylvan.
You did not understand what Tori said, but Sigmund, you did. Tori said a very rude phrase in Primordial about telling Dogbreath to F off, basically.
I will go to Dogbreath privately when I have a moment. I will say, that elemental is not very happy with you. Take caution.
I plan to bring the city peace and return this elemental back to where he belongs. Sorry, Tori. Where Tori belongs.
I will try to just go grab his blow and say, we will return you to your home.
Please make a persuasion check on Tori.
Tori, the native. 14.
14. Tori just screams, and you can't get a handle. Nope, you cannot get a handle on whether Tori likes this or doesn't like this. Tori just seems like they are just roaring and whirling around, still making quite a bit of noise. We can sleep, but Tori won't quiet down. And as we are able to sleep with this whirling, contained tornado, just distracting us a little bit, we have to plug up our ears to get some good night's rest. And the sun rises and illuminates clearly now with the sunrise how there is no sunrise happening on the other side of the rift. The rift still shows a bluish-whitish sky, while ours is yellow, red, and orange. And it is clear now that this rift is no portal, but a jagged tear in the sky. And one other thing has become clear to you, Dogbreath. It's growing.
Oh, can I tornado people? Of just gathering a storm up around the feet of my friend and see if it makes them a little bit white, like feather light.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll a d20 plus your wisdom modifier to represent how much control you're maintaining over Tori's wind speed with advantage.
Oh, yeah. Natural 20.
Natural 20. Absolutely. Tori obeys without question, forming this whirlwind into which people can step, and then they become like a large-sized orb instead of a medium-sized orb that everyone can climb into and fit into.
Oh, nice. Can I bring the horse?
The horse?
The horse.
This is not the time for the brothel. Wait, what? The horse? They can't just bring the horse in and out?
I could.
Okay, yes, you can bring the horse. Yes. Come on, bud.
Steps into a now huge-sized version of Tori, the size of an orb, really a true whirlwind now, a cyclone the size of a elephant that is able to lift up our whole party.
Nice.
As we begin to fly up high enough now where we can actually see through into the sky of the elemental plane of air, And we're starting to notice it's like a balloon that has a cut in it where it's just air rushing out so fast, even with Tori's help. Tori, to be fair, can definitely fly us in here, but it's going to be like fighting your way up a current to get through this rift. There is a huge amount of wind pouring through, and the closer we get, the more we're feeling it. And then the vista below comes into view. As we rise up high enough, we can see down. I'd like everyone here to make an Arcana or Nature check, whichever's better, to see if they can understand what has happened.
15.
I got a 4.
21 for 11.
You know you're looking into the elemental plane of air. Chadrick, you just think it looks beautiful. Starting with Dogbreath, you know something's wrong here. Because when you look down, all of you are seeing that there's wind and clouds, but there's also another rift that's much bigger than the one you're looking through, because you're only seeing the edges of this rift across the horizon. It goes on for miles and miles, like a continent-sized rift. And you are seeing on the other side of it, below the rift, a vast ocean. And Tumpy, you know what this means. Your sister, as you said, is on the elemental plane of air, but that's not the only elemental plane we're seeing. There is a rift, and the elemental plane of air and the elemental plane of water are crashing into each other, for lack of a better term. And as you see clouds with structures in them floating like the Temple of Atune in the sky of the elemental plane of air, it's like this is a hole in the bottom of the tub that everything is swirling into. You literally watch as more tiny islands go falling through the rift, and below, one has crashed into the ocean of the elemental plane of water and is sinking. And there is a war happening below as winged creatures and creatures with fins and scales seem to be battling each other upon that island. And that is where we are going to end things.
I knew this was a bad idea, folks.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That we got to that. That's very
Great
cool.
episode.
Awesome.
Tough place for a guy that can't fly or swim.
Tumpy, I'm going to ask, what form are you?
I'll be Tumpy again.
Absolutely. So as you're coming down the stairs, we're seeing you changing from a knight into your human form of Tumpy. And Mac looks up at you, and his metal mouth bends into a smile.
I came. You said I should, and I did it. And that's pretty good. I don't always do that, but you were compelling. You were compelling.
And in your he just continues to smile. And in your mind, he says, I'm glad. Truth be told, I wouldn't have known what to think about you if you hadn't. Granted, I'm in some tough circumstances myself, and I couldn't have blamed you, but Tumpy, I wanted to trust you.
Right.
I didn't mean to intrude, but perhaps you've picked up by now telepathy is my gift.
That was crazy. Never seen anything like that. Go ahead.
It is aberrant magic.
Oh, no way. Wow. How do you feel about aberrant magic? You have it. You clearly have it, but how do you feel?
Good question. I never asked for aberrant magic. I had it imposed upon me.
Right.
But it's a gift I've come to learn more about, and I don't despise people who have been touched by the aberrant magic, especially when it's not of their choice.
Okay.
So I understand that some of us are in difficult circumstances.
Yeah, those people would be in a lot of difficult situations, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly still wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Tumpy, I didn't mean to intrude, as I said, but telepathy is my gift. And I know you're not human.
Yeah, okay.
And I know that you were born this way. And it's not your fault, just like me.
I'm really revealing this to a lot of people. I don't usually do that. This is crazy. That's crazy. You want? All right.
Turn into Tumpy's frog form.
Turn into the frog form. He goes, oh, goodness.
I change the voice all the time for this one, but I did this last time, so I'll stick with it. But anyway, you're one of very few people who know, and I assume you're not going to tell anybody you're locked up in this.
I wouldn't tell anyone.
Okay.
I kept my own secrets for as long as I could, and I'd suggest you have much more ability to do that than I ever did. Keep going. You're doing great right now.
Appreciate that. So why am I here? Do you want me to tell you secrets?
Oh, quite the opposite. You have secrets I never meant to find out, but the moment I realized that there was something inhuman among us, I had to know. And I learned more about you than was fair for me to know so quickly without you revealing. So I wanted to trade you the secret of me own. I was there during the final battle 30 years ago to save the city, and I was there when Dogbreath died. And we understood that wasn't his choice, and he was still, even then, the old Dogbreath that we knew and loved. But that wasn't the only thing that happened to Dogbreath. During the final battle, we fought aberrants. Your family knows that all too well. But Dogbreath, when we destroyed the star spawn that was threatening to consume the city, he did something none of us expected him to do. He consumed the core, the seed of the star spawn. He devoured it, a creature of unimaginable, aberrant magic power.
Wow.
I don't know what price he will yet pay for having done this, but he is still, even now, the Dogbreath that I know and love. But I don't know for how long.
So the implication is Dogbreath might just die randomly? Is that what you're suggesting to me?
I'm suggesting that if the creature that even now might be growing inside of him, if it is growing, if it is still a threat, then Dogbreath dying would be the best case scenario. And it could be much worse than that.
Oh, this is going to make our relationship really awkward.
I was afraid so. And given that you keep secrets so well, I thought you should be the one to know. Because as someone aberrant yourself, someone touched by the magic that is touched.
Saying it loudly. You know what I mean? Just, you know. But my lips are sealed. Thanks for sharing that.
One other thing before you go. I think I've encountered your kind before. So an old man once, cleaning up a problem in the sewers, and I sensed something about him. I didn't know what, and I never saw him again. But I think you might not be the only changeling. No doubt, again, not to intrude, but I know you've got sisters. I'm sure it was just them. Tumpy, just make a roll real quick, just to see a d20 roll, see if you happen to know whether this was one of your sisters.
5.
5? Probably just one of your sisters.
I assume it's one of my sisters.
I know you have them and look out for them. And that's part of why what I sensed in you, I knew I could confide in you. So take this. I managed to sneak a little something in. And he reaches into his own mechanical body and pulls out what appears to be a necklace or a diadem that you would link above your forehead. And he says, this will give you a little sample of me own powers. If you need to use them on Dogbreath, they're non-violent, perhaps they can help you. But perhaps it'll help you protect him as well. Take it and go.
Great. You tries to put it on for a sec.
Absolutely. Quite stylish.
Thank you. I should probably take fart for this. Yeah, that'll fit just fine in this one. We'll have to play with that, I think. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I got to get out of here.
Certainly.
Oh, you know what? This is the wrong one, I think. Please.
That was a lot for you, I'm sure. But anyway,
be hard
thank you. Appreciate it.
You see his eyes widening.
You're the man. All right, bucko. All right.
Well done. I chose the right person.
Strolls out of there.
Smiles. Absolutely. Gives you a thumbs up on your way out. Well done, Tumpy.
All right.
Absolutely. After enjoying a nice meal, Chadrick, with your family, you set out into the night air. Where do you go from your home?
Yeah, so after I catch up with my mom and my sister, I'm going to make it to the general.
The general, you know, is at their headquarters, which is not in the Temple of Attune, as it used to be for the city government, nor is it in any of the official buildings at the heart of the city. The hands of Riven have learned better than to put their leadership at risk, and the secret council that rules this city has made their headquarters deep in the refurbished sewers of the city below. As you make your way through layers of protective defenses, secret doors, well-guarded, both magically and physically guarded chambers, you reach the council headquarters and see that they must think this is quite serious because all 6 members have gathered in person. General Ventheris, immediately the moment you walks in, salutes you and says, I think this is an open and shut case. And once Chadrick offers his testimony, we can make our decision as a council. But the fact that we would even still be discussing it, he's looking at Mother Augusta. Obviously, something has happened in the room before you got here. The fact that we're even still talking about it is frankly appalling. Dogbreath came into this city, and then we had the greatest elemental attack that we have ever yet faced. And admittedly, yes, there were things happening in the city before he got here, but this cannot be a coincidence. We cannot be this naive. He was controlling that elemental from the beginning. He controls it even now, in front of us, completely brash and obviously riding off of his heroic reputation. We need to do something, and we need to do something now. Chadrick, what have you learned in your time traveling? Anything to redeem or incriminate? Dogbreath would be most appreciated right now for convincing my other councilmen.
Yeah, I have I've seen a lot. So, my lord, respectfully, I don't think that Dogbreath summoned that elemental. I saw a man come from the portal with a staff. He was pointing at it. And then the elemental was attacking me. It was trying to kill us both. And then it stopped, and it threw the wizard through that rip in the sky. I think that's when Dogbreath took over.
You see that Mother Augusta, Sula Silvertree, the representative of the merchants, and Labyrinth, all nodding along. And Knight Commander Matthias kind of shrugging and nodding. And as Mother Augusta is about to speak up, you see, this must have been... General Ventheris cuts her off. He had an accomplice. Is that not the most obvious and elegant solution here? I don't doubt what you saw is true, Chadrick. Yes, there was a man in the sky. I think I saw what you did, but he was working with him. Certainly, Dogbreath and that man were working together, and that control was probably handed off after it was convenient for Dogbreath to come in as the apparent hero. The fact that he could control the elemental, this all bodes danger.
He seems pretty devout to Attune. I mean, when I met him, he was healing people, and then we fought an elemental. And then we went to his maester, who lives in this temple out in the wilderness. It's got a lot of like undead servants and
Mother Augusta
monks and things like that. And then after he prayed to Attune with them, we came to the city. And so it seems to me like he's trying to help.
The whole council's, their jaws have dropped. Even Labyrinth is dumbfounded by this, it seems. And Mother Augusta puts out a hand to cut off General Ventheris. Lad, are you saying that an undead maester, is the individual who Dogbreath has been training with? We knew he was practicing some kind of new magic and studying But undead? Are you sure?
Well, I don't know for sure, because even though I told him that you sent me to protect him, Mother Augusta, but he made me wait outside. He told me I wasn't allowed to come in, but I sent my dog after. I sent my... So then
Ventharis pounds the table, but he lets you continue.
I'm pretty sure, because I sent in Bud afterwards, and he smelled undead everywhere.
If Chadrick, our defender, had not sent in this dog, no doubt we would not even have this information. That Dogbreath was clearly, they start like arguing, that he was clearly hiding from us and attempting to hide from Chadrick, knowing that this was forbidden. Are we still deliberating now, or can we vote?
What? But he did just save the city.
So it seems. Council, what is our decision? And you see, first of all, Ansel the Red raise his hand. Ansel the Red, representing the mages of the city. I am a necromancer, and I have not seen undead that can be relied upon to not pursue their own ends and their own agendas. If Dogbreath is consorting with the undead, I have to vote in favor of General Ventharis. Knight Commander Matthias cuts in. If he is consorting with the undead, then Dogbreath is not the Dogbreath that we know. I have to side with General Ventharis.
I jump in at this point. I said, but not everything that looks evil is evil. I mean, you all know about my father. It was aberrants that attacked the city. It wasn't undead. I don't know. I didn't see him hurt anyone. He just went and prayed.
You're right, lad. Mother Augusta agrees, and you see Sula Silvertree and Labyrinth nodding. If he is consorting with undead, we owe it at least a chance to find out why. This may not be what it seems. I do not vote in favor of General Ventharis' plan. I am sorry. We cannot take rash action. Least of all right now, Ventharis. And Ventharis is biting his tongue right now. But it seems like the Council of Six is split 50-50. And you know, without him saying it, that General Ventharis wants this threat eliminated. Chadrick, if the council will not take action, then we will bide our time. I want you to continue to do as you have been doing and to continue to report back, especially with new developments such as this, and to do what must be done to defend the city, no matter the cost. He gives you a meaningful look, and you know that based on your private conversations with Ventharis, that he is telling you that if he makes one wrong move, Dogbreath must die.
And what about Mac the Aberrant?
Matthias cuts everyone off. We will deal with him. He is a prisoner. He has turned himself over. I do not believe he is a threat to the city, but he must be studied to determine if he is a risk that perhaps he does not even know he presents.
Well, you have to put him in the zone of truth. If he is responsible, I'll cut off his head myself.
We will put him in a zone of truth. Mother Augusta will provide. And I believe that we will determine that he is not a knowing threat to the city. What will remain to be seen is whether he presents a compromised threat to the city without even knowing that he is as such. We don't even know if Mac is the human who died so long ago. We just know that he is a machine who believes himself to have once been a human. And we will find out the truth, hopefully. Ventharis says, I wish to give a gift to Chadrick. And we will do this privately. Are we done here? And it's obvious General Ventharis is sick of this council and this meeting right now.
Okay, I take a knee and I bow as everyone leaves.
So as they file out, General Ventharis brings out something from below the pedestal that he is at. And he walks over to you. It is wrapped up, and as he unwraps it from the cloth, it's a shield. It's a shield you recognize because it's a shield of the city watch that has been slightly melted, it seems. And that this was your father's shield. They said that when he fell through the portal, part of what he was carrying fell on the other side of the portal. And though he was never seen again, you had heard rumors that his shield was found and recovered, but you had never found out what happened to it. The general says, this shield I'm giving to you in this time of need. It is imbued with some of the magic that killed your father, and it may offer you some protection against what slew him. And if Dogbreath is corrupted by aberrant energy, he may try to use it against you. Take this, and whatever the council says, if you feel it is right, or if I tell you to, you must strike him down, and you must not hesitate. The city depends on it, and the memory of your father and your family's survival may depend on it as well.
Okay, and I'll take my shield that I've been carrying and put it down as I take my father's shield. And some tears well up in my eyes as I think back to the last time I saw him when he was fighting the aberrants. And when he fell. My lord, why now? Why give this to me now?
Because, my lad, I felt you were ready. And you think he is telling the truth.
And then I'll stand up and I'll take the shield and I'll say, with permission, sir. And then I'll give him a hug. And I'll say, I know that you've been training me for these decades in case the city was ever in trouble again. And I swear I will do as my father did. And I will fight to protect the people in this city until my last dying breath.
He takes you into his arms and pulls you close in a way he has never done so. I know what I'm asking is difficult. I don't deny that. But I prepared you for difficult things. I tried to do what I thought your father would have done, and to make you ready for what he could not face. And I know that you will defend the city, and that you will be willing to pay any price to do that. And I thank you, my son.
And then I'll step back and I'll say, I'll protect the city, no matter the cost. And if you find out that Mac is responsible for what happened that day, you kill him. You kill him for me.
Then we will have each other's back in that respect. That aberrant monster will not see the light of day while I am here. Do me the same favor and protect the city.
All right. And then I bow and I leave, looking at the shield and thinking of what little memories I have of my time with my dad before the incident when I was a kid.
You see the corner of the shield is melted slightly, and you get this image of the I-beam striking his shield and pushing him through the portal rift. You remember your father, and you rejoin your teammates.
Yep. All right, cool.
Absolutely. Good stuff.